I always have questions about why things are not working in late night labs. And usually there's just something about the way you're clicking and dragging that you're not putting it at the right place for it to work. And this was a learning curve for me as well. If you've watched the tutorials in late night labs, they do help, but there's still a few things that you might not quite get. So I wanted to run through the very beginning of Lab 2 with you for those of you who have had problems and see maybe what it is that you're doing not quite right. So I have my procedures opened here, and it says we're going to put a staining pan from the instrument shelf on the workbench, and then an empty slide from the container shelf, and you have to center it on the staining pan. It will click into place, and you can see that little lock button. Then we're going to look for a culture of Staph aureus, which here is our Staph aureus culture. Put it on our workbench. And now we need a Bunsen burner. Here is our Bunsen burner. We're going to turn the Bunsen burner on and adjust the flame to a nice blue color. Now, here's the part that some of you initially had problems with. So here's our wire rod, and we want to sterilize it. If I bring it down here and put it where it looks like it's going to be in the flame, nothing happens. What you have to do is watch where your cursor is, and the cursor has to come down here onto the Bunsen burner, and then the loop will move back and forth through the flame. I can pretty much put it anywhere on my Bunsen burner and it will work. Let's see if I put it on the flame if it works. Yep, not really. But if I put it on the Bunsen burner, there it goes. So anywhere on the Bunsen burner, and now your loop is sterile. When we move it to get a sample out of our culture tube, the same thing. Move your cursor onto the culture tube. Doesn't matter where it looks like the loop ends up. The top will come out of the tube and you'll get your sample. And now we need to transfer our sample onto the slide. Same thing. Click and drag. You don't want to put your loop here where it looks like it's touching the slide. It won't work. I'll show you. Yeah, it just goes back where it came from. But if you put your cursor on the slide, now the loop will deposit the sample onto the slide. Discard the wire loop into the recycling bin. You just click and drag it down here, let go. It should throw it away in the trash can. And now it says to drag the slide through the flame a couple of times and return it to the stain pan. 1, 2. You don't get a real indication that anything has happened, but there is a log in your lab record that says you did that. And now it's ready to stain. So we're going to go to the material shelf. We don't need our Bunsen burner anymore. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. Get rid of it so I have a little more room here. Now, I need my crystal violet. I need my potassium iodide. I need my ethanol decolorizer, and I need my safranin, and I'm going to just go ahead and put them all down here. Now, we're going to use the crystal violet first. I take the dropper out of it, and again, it will not work if I just leave it up above the slide. Looks like it should, but it won't. Bring your cursor to the slide, let go, and you can see that it squirts it on there. To rinse the slide, grab your water bottle from the shelf. Again, bring your cursor to the slide, let it go, and it'll rinse it off. And you would repeat with the following stains in the correct order. So I won't finish doing that. I think once you see how to do this to this point, you'll be able to finish the lab. If you have any other questions, contact me or Late Night Lab technical help.